Do you need a sorcerer's build with the biggest crits and the most amount of sustained damage, which can literally solo any content in the entire game, as well as even do group carries for multiple endgame bosses, which has both sustained AoE and high single target damage? Then I got the sorcerer's build for you. What's up, World Tripper? Back in the video, checking out all things Diablo 4. Okay, so let's get started with the actual build. We'll go over multiple things, including the skill tree. We're going to go over the Paragon Board, as well as the Vampiric Powers. And we're even going to include some tips and tricks, and even your rotation that you should be applying for each boss, as well as how to sustain and get the highest amount of damage possible. I'm also going to go over and explain each thing and why I took it and why I mixed things up and changed different things from different builds, as well as why I think that some of the stuff here is needed for the change and some of the other things as well. And if you need tools to help you with your builds and different build guides, then check out today's video sponsor. Mobalytics is an insanely intuitive and innovative app that lets you deep dive into an incredible amount of useful tools for all your build creation needs. And this free application, and yes, you heard me right, it is completely free. This app has helped me so much with my build creations and comparing and contrasting different statistics. I was able to find incredibly interesting and different unique builds compared to mine, and even got to try out Crip's ultimate fire sorc. I love being able to glance over at my stat priorities and build priorities just right within the game. And the new highly anticipated build planner is available now to use directly in-app. And this allows me to completely redefine my build and plan out new strategies without having to use any of my precious gold. Again, you can download for free using my link down below. Thank you again to Mobalytics for sponsoring this video. I'm also going to go over each thing, why I take it, why it's different from some of the other builds that you might see online, and why different things are going to apply and synergize, I think, much better overall with this actual build. Okay, so let's just jump right into the actual skill tree itself. We're going to take Fire Bolt because we want the enchant for burning damage. We're going to go into Spark, and then we're going to go into Enhanced Spark and Glinting Spark. Now, the reason why we want to take Spark over Arc Lash, in my opinion, is we're not really getting out stuns anymore. The stun and AoE damage from this is just not worth it, in my opinion. It's just not good. It's not going to apply anything. It's not going to do anything for us, especially because of how much damage we're outputting. You're not going to be stunning enemies, and it's only every 10 Arc Lashes. You're not going to do this very often. We're not going to be doing any stun stuff, so we might as well go into Glinting Spark, which is going to be offering us both AoE damage, it can with 3 additional targets, and as well as applying more critical strike chance. Why would you not want more critical strike chance? I don't know. So we're going to go apply that into Spark instead of Arc Lash, which I've seen a lot of builds take, so we'll change that instead. We'll jump into Devastation and then go into Elemental Dominance, 3 of 3, another multiplicative damage. We're also going to go into Chain Lightning and then Enhanced Chain Lightning and Destructive Chain Lightning. Now, I might say, why are we going into Chain Lightning? Because we're going to do some synergies that are going to allow us for near infinite mana. This is going to be used as our skill enchantment. So one of our skill enchantments is Chain Lightning and the other one is Firebolt. Jumping down here, we'll take Flame Shield. We'll go 3 of 3 Glass Cannon. We'll go into Ice Armor and then Enhanced Ice Armor. We're going to skip out Frost Armor for once, and that's kind of crazy with this build, but we don't need it again. We're going to go into Elemental Attunement, 2 of 3. However, that's one you could probably skip and take something else if you really wanted to. We'll go into 1 of 3 Align the Elements, 3 of 3 Mana Shield for the damage reduction, and 3 of 3 Protection for the barrier, as well as the increased damage with barrier. We're also going to go Inner Flames, 1 of 3. We're going to go 3 of 3 Devouring Blaze for that burning damage. We're going to go into 5 of 5, of course, Ball Lightning, and of course, whatever items you might have that contribute to that. We're going to go Enhanced Ball Lightning, and then Wizard's Ball Lightning, which is going to allow us those crackling energy spawns. We're going to go 3 of 3 Static Discharge and 3 of 3 Invigorating Conduit. We're going to skip out on Shocking Impact because it's a stun mechanic and we don't need to. We're jumping down into Fury Surge, 1 of 3 for the mana regen that I really like. The Endless Pyre, 2 of 3 here. Again, we're going to do increased damage after 5 seconds. Another really good one there. We're also going to go into Unstoppable Currents, and then we're going to go all the way through that. So Prime Unstoppable Currents and as well as Supreme Unstoppable Currents. We'll go 3 of 3 Cursing Currents and then 3 of 3 Electrocution. Here's one that you could swap out of, which is the Conduction Critical Strikes with Shock Skills increase your movement speed by 6% for 3 seconds. A lot of synergy with the actual movement speed there in the critical strikes, so I do have that applied there. However, if you don't want to take this one, you could take it out there. You could put 1 into Endless Pyre. You could go into Lucky Hit Chance. There's a few other options there with that. Now for our alt, of course, we're going to go with Overflowing Energy. You'll see with our actual Vampiric Powers how this is going to synergize really well with our build. We're obviously going to take Metamorphosis to apply both Unstoppable and Vampiric Curse. It's used pretty much on every build. We're going to jump into Anticipation. That's going to reduce our ultimate reduction as well as give us additional damage with that. Then we're going to do Prey on the Weak. That's going to give us the vulnerability damage as well as kind of doing that with the Vampiric Curse. We're also going to go into Ravenous, which is going to increase our attack speed which is really good. Again, this is contributed to our movement speed, and you'll see here our bonus is at 40% because we have so much movement speed on. We'll jump down into here into Sanguine Brace. This is another one that I found different on a lot of different forums and a lot of different websites. People were taking this one. This one increases your critical strike chance. Again, we're just increasing our critical strike chance even further when we do apply Fortify, which is also another really good ability. Again, not sure why people aren't taking this one, but it's really, really good to have. It's good even in boss fights because there's going to be ad phases a lot of the time, so Fortify is going to also increase our critical strike chance. I've noticed a lot of people will take the Domination one. Again, we aren't stunning, we aren't immobilizing, we aren't freezing, and we aren't fearing, so I don't know why people take this. We don't do it anymore. Even if you have Arc Lash, you only do it once every half hour, it seems like, with getting 10 Arc Lashes out, so there's no point to take this one. I really would take something else in place for it. If it's not Sanguine Brace, then maybe something else. Jumping into our Paragon Board, I'm going to go over this very, very quickly, as this is more so something that you're going to be needing to view on the actual build guide that I'll post, or the actual build link, so you can go to that and go through everything there. We're going to be taking Reinforce. This is a really good one. Once we get the actual 17 willpower and we get this to level 15, then we'll get some damage reduction there. This is also going to increase our nodes here quite significantly. We're going to jump over into here, and we are going to take Destruction, of course, for the critical strike chance, as well as those bonuses. We're going to put that on our biggest dex board here, which is Ceaseless Conduit. We're jumping over here, and we're going to grab Unleash. I really like this one. This is one that you could swap out if you didn't like it. However, it has a multiplicative damage increase as well as mana regeneration, so another really good ability there with that. And we're getting some minor increases there. Again, all of my glyphs and all this damage stuff, most of them are like level 1. If you could see here, this one's level 3, this one's level 1, Unleash is level 1. The only two that I have 15 are Destruction and Exploit, so a lot of this stuff that you'll see is actually with level 1 glyphs, which is kind of insane. We're going down here. Again, most of the stuff, all that matters on this Paragon Board is the multiplicative damage that you'll see at the bottom. Now, this one specifically, we're going to swap this one out for Territorial. Once I get this one to 15, I am going to take Territorial, which is going to allow us to have that damage reduction, 15%. We'll get that there with this Paragon Board. We are going to take Static Surge, which is going to synergize with our Chain Lightning enchantment, as well as some gear pieces and some aspects that are going to allow us to get constant mana regeneration and apply vulnerability for 2 seconds. That one's OP. We'll go down into here. We are skipping a few things for damage, but we'll jump into this Paragon Board, which we have Crackling Energy, another great glyph socket. As you see, when we pick up Crackling Energy rather, we're going to get increased damage up to 15 times. Absolutely amazing. Mastery skills, this one seems like a given. We're going to get a lot more mastery range with our not Chain Lightning, our Ball Lightning, and that's going to allow us to do more damage as well as more AoE. We're going to jump into here as well and do Exploit. Again, we're going to do more Exploit damage as well as getting that multiplicative as that additional bonus. That's going to give us a lot of synergy with our build. Jumping over into our character, we'll see some of the stuff that are synergizing, like Isu's Heirloom, which is increasing our critical strike chance by our movement speed. Again, more crit strike chance. Another amazing one. Tybalt's Will is going to be absolutely crazy for us. 30 times, up to 40 times if you have that one. Increased damage while unstoppable and 4 seconds after. And you gain 50 primary resource. This is incredible for us. We're going to lose some damage reduction on our pants, which is unfortunate. We'll have to get that back later. I do need to move some stuff around to get more damage reduction, as this build's going to need a little bit more damage reduction in order to survive the kind of later dungeons. However, that multiplicative damage is absolutely insane, and every time we're using our bad ability to dodge, we are applying Unstoppable, as well as when we teleport. This is just absolutely crazy for us. This is going to be so good for our build. Now, for some of the synergies with our actual kind of damage numbers here, we obviously have the increased armor. We're going to have the barrier increase, or the barrier kind of generation. That's another good one. Probably got this one a little bit higher. We have deal 8 times increased damage for every second you stand still. I love this one. One's really good for bosses. Ball Lightning orbits you. This is obviously a given. We're going to have to take this one for Ball Lightning. We're going to go into deal 27 times increased damage with a barrier. Another very much given. We're going to go into Chain Lightning bounces. The mana regeneration, as I talked about, that synergy with mana regeneration. We're getting even more mana regeneration with this. We're also going to do 27 times increased damage to vulnerability enemies while you have barrier. This is another multiplicative damage that we are going to want. And then An additional multiplicative damage that we want is that skills deal increased damage based on your primary resource. We are generating so much primary resource that this should help us quite significantly as well. Now, the main stuff here is my armor is super low. I know I'm probably going to get comments on that. Your armor is really low. Yes, it's because I replaced the pants. I don't have armor on my helmet, which I desperately need and can't get the rolls of, and I probably would also maybe take armor on my actual amulet instead of maybe defense ranks or mastery ranks. However, that does apply to ball lightning and gives us some additional damage there. We are probably going to want way more armor than this, so try to get armor on your helmet at least, and maybe even possibly your chest. I think you can also get armor on, as well as maybe even your amulet, the percentage armor. If you do have these pants, you're going to kind of have to rework some stuff there, although we do have that 15% damage reduction on our Paragon Board, as well as 15% damage reduction while we have a barrier, so there is some things there that we can synergize with to push those kind of late T100 dungeons as we do want to be able to survive. Now I'm going to go over the rotation really quickly, how to output the most amount of damage quite significantly so that way you can get some insanely fast damage. You'll see a lot of footage here that I have where I'm doing a ton of damage to bosses and kind of outputting that, but we'll jump over to Lilith to kind of practice that. Now let's go over the rotation very quickly so you can see exactly what I'm doing here, and maybe you can figure out a better way to do this. However, this is probably pretty good itself. Okay, let's just jump into the actual rotation, and let's go over exactly what I'm doing here to kind of increase this damage output along with all the synergy in our build here. So of course we have the metamorphosis, so when we dodge we get unstoppable, which is going to give us damage increase while we're unstoppable and 4 seconds after. I do have to remember that. That's a really good one there. So when we do is what we're going to do is when we get in this boss fight here, we're going to apply the unstoppable to ourselves as well as going through Lilith to apply the vulnerability damage. We're going to proc our barrier as well as our ult, and then we're going to proc teleport, which is another defensive ability. When both of our ice armor runs out and our teleport, then we're going to proc our flame shield to give us even more increased damage. You'll see the damage is going to ramp very quickly when we're applying that. Okay, so let's jump right into the boss fight so you'll kind of see the synergy here. We are going to bat through Lilith really quick. We're going to apply barrier. We'll apply our ult. We're then going to start attacking. We'll apply teleport. Then we're going to pop into our flame shield. And as you see, we just melted Lilith in one phase there. And actually, we just one phase. I've never done that before. That was pretty fast. So that was pretty insane. As you see the synergy there, applying the barrier. After we dodge through, of course, and get the unstoppable, then we'll teleport in. Then we'll apply our ult. I can't do right now. It's on cooldown. And then apply flame shield once our ice armor is over. You'll see this damage is just absolutely insane with her. It's just crazy once we get everything synergized together. And of course we don't have our ult up. Normally you would during this phase so that you'd be able to do damage, and you see once we get our ult, we're just going to decimate her and do damage. Now I'm not going to do this fight legit. We're only doing this to kind of showcase exactly what's going on with the actual fight, but you see that we do a lot of damage here. And we can basically take her down super easy if we actually had that there. You might want to do different boots there to kind of take down Lilith if you want. You're probably going to want boots that allow you to dodge 4 times. That way you can kind of evade much quicker. And you might want to do some other things there. Again, I wasn't really going with that fight or trying to actually do it, but it was more so just a showcase for the actual build and roto itself. That should about cover it. If you have any questions about the build or the rotation itself, please leave them down below and I will comment and get back to you as quickly as possible. As well as the build link, I'll try to have that up as early as possible, as well as everything there. There's a lot to go over with this, especially the Paragon Board itself. But that should about cover it for today's video. If you like, subscribe, and until the next one. Deuces.